Hi guys, my name is Bart and welcome to the second installment of Creative Pro's Mastering Smart Objects with Adobe Photoshop. In the first episode, I talked about animating smart objects, and in this video, I'll show you how you can non-destructively apply and change filters to one or multiple layers, of course, using smart objects. Let's jump in. Okay, so this is my composition. Um, I've got four layers here, which are the four post-colored images. They've all got layer styles applying to them, just a simple, stroke effect. Now, the thing is, I want to apply a couple of filters to these images, and as you can see, these layers have already been converted to embedded smart objects. Now, if I select one of these postcards, say this one, the top one, I can come in and choose filter, and then I just choose the filter I want. For example, let me just come here and choose pixelate, maybe color halftone. 16 pixels is fine. Click OK. As you can see, it's going to apply this filter to only this layer in a non-destructive way. So as you can see here in the layer panel, I've got a smart filters category now. With my color halftone filter being applied, I can actually come in and I can deselect this, I can hide it, I can show it to get like a before and after kind of effect, which is nice. I also get this white area, which is a layer mask, which is being applied to the whole smart filters category, which means all the smart filters that were added to this list here, which means I can just come in here, take my brush, hide certain portions of this effect any way I want. So this is all being applied non-destructively. Now, the cool thing about this is you can actually come in and double click this little icon as well, which will open up this particular color halftone filter blending options, which means I can lower the opacity if I want to make this effect a little bit softer if I want to. Or I can actually come in and choose a different blending mode. For example, color in this example gives me a nice bit of like a retro type of effect. And again, soften it just a little bit more. There we go. Choose OK. And now this, again, is being applied non-destructively, which means I can actually come in and even alt drag these filters across these other images if I want to get the exact type of effect. See? Pretty cool. Now the thing is, I always see people using this technique, which is really good, of course, but it actually only stops there. There's a lot more that you can do with this. For example, let me just quickly remove this here. Say I want to take this final composition and I want to sharpen the entire composition because I'm done with my work. Or maybe you want to blur the entire composition as an extra graphic effect. What I see a lot in this situation is that people would create a new layer on top of everything else and then merge all the other layers into that one layer to get that composite and then apply the layer effect or layer filter. Now, the thing is that if you do that, this is actually destructive, and in case you want to change anything to the layer composition, you have to redo all those steps again. So let me show you how it actually works. So this is layer 1. There's a shortcut to make this work, which is Shift-Alt-Command-E on the Mac or Shift-Control-Alt-E on the PC. And as you can see, this will actually flatten and merge all these layers together into this big composite image. As you can see, this is the one I've got here now. And yes, I can come in and convert this to a smart object, apply the filter I want, which is fine. But if I ever change my mind, for example, if I want to come in and make this postcard stand over here, for example, then I would have to delete the layer, make my change, make a new layer, merge everything together again, convert to smart object, and then try and figure out what the last settings were that I used for my filters. So that's not really very productive. Instead, I can come in and do something else. I can actually take all these layers here together and then apply the effect. Now the thing is, if I want to say sharpen the entire composition or again maybe blur it, there's a difference. There's a visual difference between blurring every individual layer or blurring a composite. Okay, I want to blur a composite or just apply an effect to the composite version of this. Now to make that work, and this is actually a technique I use a lot, I'm going to select all the layers in my layer panel that make up the entire composition. Right click it and choose Convert to Smart Object. So now I've got a smart object. There we go. And in that smart object, I've got multiple other smart objects and another normal layer. Now this is my, just call like my master smart object. Just rename this here like a master smart object. There we go. And now I can come into the filter menu and then apply any layer I want. For example, if I come into, say, blur, Gaussian blur, it's going to do exactly that and blur everything together. Or come in, say, filter, sharpen, give it like a classic unsharp mask, and it'll do exactly that. It will sharpen the entire composition all together. Or I can come into, say, filter and choose, I kind of like this one. I like the camera raw filter, which gives me like the entire camera raw plugin for just one particular layer, which is really cool. So I can maybe come in here, say, and apply like a post-crop vignetting effect, maybe sharpen everything together. So I've got like multiple filters in one large filter. That's why I really like this this option. Maybe change the exposure a tiny little bit, change the contrast, stuff like this. Choose OK. It will apply everything together, and now as you can see, it's all been applied to this one master composition. Now, if I want to change my mind and say move this image more up to this way, well, that's fine. Just double click the master object, move the layer that you want to move, which is this one in this case. Just move it that way. There we go. And if we're done, File, save it, let it save for a couple of seconds. It's a pretty large composition. And close it. And this will update, reapply all those filters again, and give me the final output I'm looking for. Now, sometimes you have to make this work for yourself. Sometimes you have to work on projects that somebody else has to work with. Now, if you're scared that that person might not know what's going on, you can maybe just come in here and say something like double click for layers or something. And then they would know where to double click in case they need to use the actual layers. And I tend to delete this one as well, because if you're not using the filter mask, it's just going to take up extra space. So I'm just going to delete it here, close it, and then I can come in and save my project like this. And there we go. This is how you unify filters in Adobe Photoshop. Well, that's all the time we have for this video. Be sure to connect with Creative Pro on Twitter and Facebook. And of course, don't forget to check out the site. Have fun, and until next time.